Gallium nitride, silicon carbide. How is it going to change the world of data centers?
Good question. Well, data centers are completely changing the world as we know it. It used to be data centers required just a few hundred watts per processor or 10 to 20,000 watts in a server rack. That's the building block of a data center. AI is changing that completely. We're now talking about hundreds of thousands of watts, and in the future, a megawatt per server rack. How are we going to deliver that kind of power? Silicon chips just can't do it. They run out of steam. Gallium nitride and silicon carbide can offer up to 10 to 20 times more power and do it more energy efficiently with faster charging, faster power. These are the key technology chips to power the future data center.
And Gene, as we mentioned, been selected by Nvidia for this partnership going forward. How's your supply chain? How's your ability to suddenly meet this level of demand?
We have lined up significant capacity. We've seen this coming for the last few years. We've been working on gallium nitride and silicon carbide for over 10 years. We have excellent supply chain partners, TSMC with gallium nitride, X-FAB with silicon carbide, significant capacity available today in 6-inch, going to 8-inch in the coming years. So we've got a lot of capacity lined up. Now we're working with NVIDIA on the development side. There's a lot to do in development to enable what they call the 800-volt data center. This data center architecture is not only going to save energy, use our chip to make it more energy efficient, it's going to enable that megawatt capability up to 10, 20 times more powerful to handle the future AI processors for the next few years.
Gene, your company's stock's been on a wild ride, hasn't it, since the announcement of the deal, largely by association, probably, right, with the name Nvidia. But can you give us something tangible? Like, what's the dollar value of this relationship to Navitas? What's the sort of sales growth trajectory just from the agreement you've put in place with Nvidia?
Well, we're already shipping our high voltage GaN chips and silicon carbide chips into data centers today. We have about 70 opportunities in the AC to DC converter for the traditional data center of today. That's already growing, and that's going to drive some short-term growth for the company. But this announcement is really about tomorrow. We're going to spend the next year in development with NVIDIA and others, creating the key technology or building blocks for this 800-volt data center, this megawatt server rack power. These systems won't come online until maybe late 26 and really be ramping in 27. So it's not a short-term play, but we do have solid business in the near term that has us already engaged with NVIDIA and others. And we're really excited about making this next generation data center happen over the next 12 to 18 months.
We said at the top of the show that you've added almost $1 billion of market cap in the last 7 trading sessions, and the company's value's tripled. As its CEO, what's that like for you?
Well, we went public a few years ago as an early stage public company. I've learned to ride the highs and the lows and not get too excited about either extreme. So I think the market's going to do what it's going to do. But we keep our heads down, focusing on building a great next generation power semiconductor business. If we can keep partnering with companies like NVIDIA in key segments, data center is a top one for us. We're also working on mobile chargers. We're also working on electric vehicles, changing solar inverters, partnering up with some of these key guys. That's what gets me excited. That's what's going to drive our business. And we're super excited about the NVIDIA one to really create these future data centers.
Gene, how are you navigating also the politicization of all of this? The idea that people want US data centers, but they're also willing to then go and partner in the UAE and Saudi Arabia, and issues around access to China in that way. How are you thinking about the global footprint you'll have?
Yeah, it really is deglobalization in such a big way. I think we're starting from a good place. Taiwan is a great central location, neutral, if you will, to serve the world. TSMC is the biggest and best out there for the gallium nitride chips. Our silicon carbide at X-FAB is actually manufactured right in the United States, in Texas. There's a lot of work to do here in the United States to upgrade the grid, and most of the data centers in the world are concentrated here in the US. So made in America, at the chip level, made in America for the data center and for the power grid upgrades is a perfect fit. But we're not going to stop there. We're looking at bringing up wafer fab and manufacturing partners all around the world, so we have geographically diverse footprint, so we can deal with whatever the geopolitics are, as well as whatever the localization needs are. So there's a lot to do in our expansion. We've got a lot going on to expand that footprint.
Gene, you said this partnership with NVIDIA bears fruit late 26, early 2027. Does that mean that you'll be involved in some of the projects NVIDIA announced in the Gulf states, Saudi and the UAE, and some of its onshoring activity here in the United States, projects like Stargate, for example?
Well, we'll work at the power chip and power module or power supply level. So we create kind of these building blocks, the building blocks that move that power around, allow the power to happen efficiently, keep the data centers cool. Where they take those building blocks, the beauty is I don't have to customize them from one region to the next. They can build these all around the world, and they'll ship and move those chips and modules easily without my involvement. So we don't really need to be impacted by those international moves.